we're back here today with our guest speaker series. And we have today's guest, we have Chris Weston, who comes to us today from the Days for Girls Society. Hi, Chris. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you very much. And Ella and Abby are back as our co-hosts today. Thanks, girls. And they've come with a whole bunch of awesome questions for Chris. So Abby, would you like to get started on those today?
Sure. So Chris, would you like to start off by telling us a bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a retired high school teacher, and I have started the South Georgian Bay, Ontario team of Days for Girls in this area.
Great. Ella, you had a question for Chris?
Yeah, so can you tell us about the history of the Days for Girls program and its mission?
I certainly will. Days for Girls started in 2008, so not even 13 years ago. And it started by an amazing woman called Celeste Mergen. And she has not only started Days for Girls, but has built Days for Girls and literally is starting to change the world's view of what menstruation is and how important it is and how natural it is. And they are basically getting the word out that all the stigma and shame associated with menstruation is just wrong. And they're doing an amazing job.
Yeah, it sounds wonderful. Abby, you had another question there for Chris?
Yeah. So the group traditionally makes Days for Girls kits during the pandemic. We understand your group has also been making masks. Can you tell us a bit about these?
Right. Early in March of last year, I was asked by a friend of mine if I would make some masks for her and her employees. And I made some, and she just said, oh, by the way, why don't you make extra and I'll sell them in the store? And it just literally turned us into a mask making business. I have probably a dozen volunteers, and we just produced masks like crazy.
That's wonderful.
We did it originally as a fundraiser because we couldn't do anything else to raise funds this year. Normally we do craft sales and GNE, that type of thing. So it was amazingly profitable as a fundraiser for us this year. But we've also been able to give over 1,000 masks to local food banks, out of the cold programs, a variety of different organizations. And our volunteers also made over 100 isolation gowns for a hospice and a hospital and 3 nursing homes in the area. Wow. So we've been able to give back to the community as well.
Wonderful.
Which is so good.
So Chris, if you're okay with maybe showing us today what you have in the kit, so we have everybody has a better understanding of what you put together and how much work goes into it.
Happy to. The contents of the kit, all wrapped, everything, not wrapped, but packaged and inserted into what we call a transport bag. And what it is a waterproof bag that the girls take with them to school. And then if they have to change a liner out, they can put the soiled one in here till it gets home. But the important thing is the contents of this little kit. I don't know if you can see it. It's called a pod, or a personal object of dignity. And what it contains is a waterproof shield that looks something like a cross, but in the pockets, top and bottom, is the flannelette liner. And it's designed like this. So you have double layers through the center part, but only 3 layers that go into the pocket. The girls can load 1, 2, or 3 in the shield, and it snaps around the crotch of the panties.
That's great.
So in each kit, they get 2 waterproof shields and 8 liners.
Wow.
We also send 2 pair of underwear and a washcloth,
Oh, wow.
as well as a hotel-sized bar of soap. Most countries and areas can make their own soap. So again, to keep shipping costs down, we send a sample and go from there. So all of those items are then put into a drawstring bag that they can carry to school, and it's discreet.
Oh, wow.
So the kit is sustainable. It lasts for at least 3 years. It allows girls to stay in school for 3 years because they now have something that can manage their periods.
Yeah.
It allows women to go to work and, earn an income, support their family.
Absolutely.
So they're amazing, amazing kits. And the pattern itself,
Mhm.
in less than 13 years, has been changed more than 30 times
Oh, my goodness.
from feedback from the people that are using them.
Oh, wonderful.
And that's really important that
Mhm.
we listen
Mhm.
to those people that are using them.
That's great.
Yeah.
So Ella, you had another question for Chris today.
Yeah, so does this group consist of all volunteers, and what are some of the volunteers' tasks?
Yes, all of our volunteers, everyone who works on anything with our team they're strictly volunteers. And believe it or not, we've had people from the ages of 4 to 80 helping us. So we have tasks for literally everybody.
That's wonderful.
Husbands have helped, and sons and I put my grandkids to work.
Yeah.
They're all happy to do it.
Oh, that's great.
We've also have a number of high school girls that help us, and because we're a registered charity, we can sign off on volunteer hours, which
Oh,
is
that's wonderful.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Tasks, everything from, well, I usually do most of the purchasing of the fabric. Everything has to be pre-washed and dried so that if it's going to shrink, it shrinks first.
Mhm.
And there's ironing, and believe me, there's miles of ironing to do. We go through a lot of fabric.
Wow.
And every team is self-funded. So if we don't do fundraising, we have nothing to sew and we can't produce the kit.
Oh, wow.
Plus even buying the underwear, that's a huge expense.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It just has to be done. These ribbons that are on the end of the bags have to be cut and heat sealed. That's one of the jobs the girls have been doing for us. Tracing patterns before they're cut out. Sewing.
So there's a variety of
all
yes. sorts of tasks.
And they're take-home tasks. They're tasks that we traditionally do at the church. We meet the first and third Fridays of every month, normally, not in this world, but hopefully we'll be able to get back. But we do hope to have either evening workshops or Saturday workshops where, other people who are working or students can come and join us and learn new skills. We're happy to teach you how to sew if you don't know. We have machines there. There's literally something for everyone.
That's great. And you know what, as you say, if you don't know how to sew, it's a good way to learn and to give back at the same time.
Right.
That's
wonderful. True.
Yeah.
Things like helping us with fundraising, social media. Needless to say, we're all about my age and not as tech savvy as a lot of you girls are, but something like that. Just helping us get the word out to people.
That's
There's
wonderful.
always something you can do.
Great. Abby, you had another question for Chris?
We were wondering if you guys are accepting donations at this point in time, and how do people go about donating?
Yes, we always accept donations. First of all, we accept specific fabrics. If people are downsizing their stash or, they just aren't interested in sewing, we're always interested in sewing supplies and 100% cotton like a quilter's cotton or flannelette. But having said that, Days for Girls is very specific as to patterns. They have to be, they call them stain busting colors. And also they're very culturally sensitive. So we can't have animals, we can't have English words, we can't have Disney glitzy things. Basically flowered or geometric in darker shades works for us. So we're always happy to get donations of fabric and sewing supplies, but also money helps.
Yeah.
It helps us buy those underwear.
That's wonderful.
Anyways, and donations $20 or more, you will get a tax receipt. So I think I sent you some contact information.
Okay. Yep.
And if you could just put that at the end,
That's
you can
wonderful,
get in
yep.
touch with our treasurer, Helen, and she will ensure that you get a tax receipt as well. So that's good.
Wonderful.
So how do youth in our community get in touch with the local Days for Girls group if they want to get involved?
Probably the easiest is to get in touch with me, Chris Weston, and I've left both my phone number and email, and I would be more than happy to work with you.
Wonderful.
I'm excited about it.
Well, anybody have any other questions for Chris today? No? Well, thank you so much, Chris, for going through all this with us today and for sharing a little bit more about Days for Girls. We really do appreciate it. And I know, hopefully there will be interest for having some more donations or having some youth in our community want to come out and volunteer, because I know they certainly would like to get some of their hours in for sure.
Right. Well, thank you so much for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you. So
Thank
thank you,
you.
girls. And we will see everybody next month. Our next meeting has been pushed to April 26th. So we will hopefully see everybody then. Take care. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Hi.
Bye-bye.